code you see right behind me there is using the wrong tool to solve the problem. Let me explain. Here we have a simple function, double. It takes a set of arguments and then it will basically double them, right? And the person who implemented that on the James platform, yeah, we have a lot of exercise there where people actually learn how to improve their coding skills. That person decided to use reduce. The way I think about it is they took a hammer, like a huge hammer, and then they were like, oh, I'm gonna go after that fly. And that there might work and it's gonna make a big splash. But you shouldn't go that route, right? Use the right tool for the job. So what we're going to do here in this video, we're going to implement that in different ways. And toward the end, I'm gonna show you the main difference between the forEach, map, filters, and reduce. And you're going to see that reduce is the Swiss knife, that's the way you say that, that can actually do them all. But you don't have to go to reduce all the time, because that thing is really powerful, okay? So come with me, let's do that. So what we're going to do here, I'm first going to start with the implementation with the for loop. So what do we do with the for loop? I can just go here and then put a for loop right there and then say, okay, we're starting from there, and then we have number, and then this is going to be number, right? Now we have that value that is being value here, and we can now put it into an array that we're going to return. So let's bring that array right here. So I said numbers, it's actually not number, it's called num. There you go. And now here we're returning a number right there. So we're going to just say this is our result right there. And now we're going to push this value in there. So technically what we want is this. So yeah, that's basically what we want. And then we can then return that result there. So if we did it well, right there we should see that this has been basically, we got the right result. So that's the for loop. And you know what? That's a valid solution. It's a valid solution. I will go for this one versus reduce, because I think reduce is overkilling the thing right there. But that's a matter of choice once again. And it depends of your experience in programming. Now, I will say this one is a beginner experience, and with age, with experience, like you get 10, 15 years of experience, and you're like, oh, maybe this one is better because I want to wake up tomorrow morning and look at it and be like, what are you doing? And you understand what it's doing, okay? So I can see people saying like, yeah, David, you don't need that intermediary variable. Yeah, you're probably right, so let me just do that here and put it right there, and then we remove that and we get there. Good? So that's one. The second one, we're going to go with the forEach implementation, which is actually not that different here. The refactor will be quite easy here. So what we do, we remove this part, and then we go with the forEach this way. And then with the forEach, we just pass the num here, and then here we're just gonna have the num. I can move this thing right there, and we get almost the right thing until I do this. And then I can do that right now, right? So forEach give us exactly the same result, but we just took remove all the things behind the scene and how that works, right? Now, this approach there, to me, it's once again, you have a function, like a looping mechanism, and that does things. And the thing that it does here, it doesn't really it doesn't return you anything. That's why you have to put things into an array and then return that. Now, let's move on and see how you will do that with the map. Now, with map, the syntax will be kind of the same, right? So what you do here is basically say, I'm gonna have a map. And then once you have a map, you don't need to push. When you push, you're telling your program how to do things. When you use map, you actually just don't tell it how you do things. You just tell it how the operation, the way it has to process the things that will go into the final array. So if we do it this way, we can just go, okay, you see, with map right there, it's still working, right? Because I'm using map the wrong way, just like I would use forEach, but that's actually not the point. Here, I can remove this part and just return this. And by returning this, I can now remove all of this and just return that part, right? So by doing this, you see, I get exactly the same result, but I get something that is actually less verbose. Let me remove and that here, and we get exactly the right thing here. Okay. So this is map. So what we just covered there, we went from the for loop. Actually, the main implementation was using reduce. So we rewrite with a for loop, with a forEach and a map, and as you can see right there, it's probably not like for a lot of people will be like, yeah, well, I prefer a for loop, and that's once again a matter of preferences. The point of this video is really focusing on using the right tool for the job. And to explain that, I'm going to show you a little bit the difference here. So if you use a map is basically going, they always start with an array, and then it's going to map to go to, let's say here, we're just gonna, to another array. So that's basically the thing. Map is, you give me an array of things, let's say an array here, and then you go to an array of that thing, right? And indeed, that array could be like empty, but it's not really empty. It actually has to be an array of the same size. That is the thing there. So if you go from an array of 8, you have to go end up with an array of 8. That's what map will do. Let's look into filter. So filter will do something a little bit different. It will go from an array, let's say, of 8 and to an array of x. We don't know what that thing is, but at least it will return you an array. And it's all based on the fact that in filter, you have to give it like a Boolean expression, right? Something that returns a Boolean expression, and that allows the filter to know, oh, I take this one and I don't take this one, right? And then the one that is selected will go into the array, and the two arrays, the one at the beginning and the one at the end, don't have the same size. That's basically the main thing right there. But how about reduce? So reduce will go from that same array, and you're gonna give it a function right there, so we can remove that part. But it actually goes to, you don't know, right? If you talk about TypeScript here, I'm just gonna say, hey, that thing will go to unknown, because you can reduce. It's just the idea, like I can go from some place to another place without by using this transformation transformation mechanism, and reduce is a powerful tool for that. So when you look at these three tools, what you gotta keep in mind is reduce is the hammer. It's that huge thing that you don't want to use everywhere, and just be wise about it. It's a transformation tool. Now, here's a little thing. We're done with map, filter, reduce. If you want, you can click stop and then move on. For those who are into learning, one thing that I do to improve my skills is, okay, that thing looks pretty good and it's not that difficult, right? I didn't explain you some rocket science stuff, but to make it actually way more fun, I always do this. What if you had, the task was, instead of just writing this way, you wanted to do something that looks like this, okay? And that will then say, you're gonna give it the nums like this. So let me do that. Oh yeah, okay. So you will say, okay, this one's gonna take the nums and it's gonna take the function, and this should still work. Yeah, I know. I just invented that from thin air. So there, it's where the fun starts. the point there is for you to learn how to write the function map without using map. And guess what? We kind of done that, right? That will explain to you what we do over here a little bit better. So let's go here. We're going to create a function called map, and that function here takes an array of things, right? So we're just gonna say a collection of things that are unknown, and it's an array, right? And then it's going to take a function that will basically, let's go with function here for now. I know a lot of people are going to kill me for that, but that will be basically the main idea there. And then once you have that, let me just move a little bit on the side. Okay, so we go here. Now, once you have that, you can go ahead and basically say, okay, let's create a result. Let's use what Copilot is giving us there. What we're saying there, we're going back to the implementation we had at the beginning that says, give me an array, and for this array will basically call the map function there, and then in that function will take this argument right there. So technically, I don't need these three for now. That's basically, if you want to know what these three are, you can read on MDN. But on the GEMS platform, there is an exercise that helps you understand this thing. And then here, indeed, I need to give it the function that does the job. Look what just happened. The map function there is just a for loop. Simple. You look through it, you get the thing at the end, and then you just pass it here. Like you see, it takes a collection, and then I just pass the mapping function, right? The function that will transform the things and then put it into the array, and that is what happening on line 10. Guess what? I'm done. But I have something to ask to you. Let me go back here. If you like this, yeah, you know, there's a like button, but even better, if you want me to bring this every week, like going deeper, you have two things you could do. You can click that subscribe button, and no one will be hurt. And that's actually the only thing. I said two, but there's only one thing. Click that button, and I see you in a few days. Cheers. Bye.